CBS News Bay Area Afternoon Edition with Ann Mekovic.
Right now on the afternoon edition, a Bay Area School District making the tough decision to shut down 3 campuses, impacting staff and a lot of families. Thanks for joining us this Thursday. Schools around the Bay Area are dealing with budget problems, and today we're talking about the Vallejo City Unified School District. This decision comes as the school board attempts to balance a budget, seeing rising costs and declining enrollment. They say they've been considering closures for months now. These are the 3 schools that will close at the end of this school year: Highland Elementary, Lincoln Elementary, and Penny Cook Elementary. Veronica Macias is live at Penny Cook in Vallejo, hearing from some very frustrated parents. Veronica, they're just hearing this news today as they attend their kids' Christmas event.
Yeah, parents left about an hour ago. They were here for a holiday performance just before the winter break. This is the news they're receiving about the closures. And I can tell you, parents did seem pretty bummed and disappointed. They're worried about how this is going to impact their child, how the deficit is going to impact the quality of their education. But here's what we're looking at. As of yesterday, we know the announcement came out about the closures impacting the 3 elementary schools, one of them being Penny Cook Elementary here. Lots of students are going to be impacted. And it's said to have a lot of unused space, the schools that is. So the operational cost is adding up for the district, pushing the district to consolidate. The district over the years has faced a steady decline in student enrollment, leading to less state funding and a projected $36 million deficit over the next 2 years, according to the board. So board members yesterday also approving a $32 million reduction here, including $22 million in staff cuts, leaving many educators without jobs. Parents tell me they're worried about the quality of education and also the emotional state for their kids.
The children love the school, they love the teachers, they love the staff. And, you know, it makes a hardship for a lot of parents, especially those who don't have vehicles or who are really close by. So it's frustrating that the city, well, not really the city, the school district is cutting more schools. They've already cut the middle schools down so far. There's only 2 high schools. And it makes it hard on the parents, and it makes it hard on the kids who now have to leave somewhere they love.
And we have to figure out what school we want to place her at now. Of course, she's very sad about it because she has like a lot of friends here. She's been here since pre-K, so it's going to be emotional for her.
Okay, so that parent telling me their child is now in the 3rd grade. So they've been here for a number of years, so you could understand why they're worried about the change. As for the Vallejo City Unified School District, they released a statement which reads in part, board members don't take these decisions lightly. We carefully examined years of data, listened to our community, and weighed our responsibility to maintain stability in the district for the long term. These actions allow us to protect academic programs, keep resources where students need them most, and prevent far more severe consequences. Also, the district here, this impacts a very diverse student population. The majority of the students here, over 50% Hispanic, about 22% African American. Parents also seeming concerned, disappointed with the closures happening in their district when it comes to these disadvantaged populations. Anne.
Really tough news. And yeah, as we know, this is a problem that districts are dealing with Bay Area wide. Thanks, Veronica, for that report from Vallejo. To our first alert weather now, a little break before the rain moves in again. Meteorologist Jessica Birch is here. Jess, it sounds like we better take advantage of this break while we have it.
You know, you could say take advantage of it and or just take the time to prepare, because the reality is starting tomorrow, lasting into our Christmas holiday, we are gearing up for some heavy showers sweeping in from offshore. We had a dense fog advisory earlier this morning throughout the Bay Area. That's now lifted, but we're still dealing with cloudy skies widespread throughout the Bay. 60s in the forecast down in the Santa Clara Valley as well as our coastal communities. 50s expected today, anywhere from Santa Rosa all the way over into Novato and Napa too. A couple of things we want to talk about with this atmospheric river as we're gearing up for some heavy showers around the corner. The reality is we are dry right now, despite the fact that we're seeing cloudy skies. But starting Friday, lasting into Saturday and Sunday, and from Sunday into Tuesday of next week, actually, we can see anywhere up to around 2 to 6 inches of rain accumulate up into the North Bay, closer to Cloverdale, Santa Rosa. and all throughout Mendocino County, stretched over into Lake County, Napa, and Sonoma as well. That same atmospheric river will bring in widespread showers for our friends down into the Santa Clara Valley too, but for the most part, it's tilted north as we head into our next week's forecast before widespread showers become apparent heading into Wednesday and Thursday, just ahead of Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. I'll have more on this forecast coming up in a bit, but for now, back to you.
Thanks, Jess. And as we look ahead to more rain, we want to get a check on our water supply. Our chopper flew over Lexington Reservoir in the South Bay. Santa Clara Valley water officials say their reservoirs are at 95% of the historical average for this time of year. But there's a little more catching up to do for reservoirs in the East Bay.
We are keeping an eye on it. We're about 77% of average for this time of year. So we've got a little bit of a gap to make up, but we have time, and this looks like a good one.
Water officials say they are going to be closely watching reservoir levels with the wetter storm expected this weekend. And as we continue to track changes in our weather, we have you covered on air on our website, kpix.com, and streaming on the free CBS News app. Now to some other headlines we are following today. Police in San Francisco searching for a hit-and-run driver who killed a pedestrian last night. It happened at Mission Street and Foot Avenue just after 6 p.m. The driver took off after the crash. Paramedics could not save the person who was hit. A crackdown on street vendors leading up to Super Bowl 60 at Levi Stadium. The Santa Clara City Council just approved the special event zone stretching from Route 237 in the north, Calabasas Creek to the west, 101 and Montague Expressway to the south, and Guadalupe River to the east. It is the same zone that was in effect in 2016, the last time Levi Stadium hosted the Super Bowl and part of the city's hosting agreement with the NFL. Taking a check on Wall Street, here is a live look at the big board this Thursday. The Dow is up more than 100 points. That's after the latest data on inflation from the Labor Department. It shows November's consumer price index rose at an annual rate of 2.7% in November. That is lower than the 3% economists expected. In his primetime address to the nation yesterday, President Trump painted a rosy picture of the U.S. economy under his leadership.
We're poised for an economic boom, the likes of which the world has never seen. I am bringing those high prices down and bringing them down very fast.
But the latest CBS News polling finds a majority of people, 76%, say that their income is not keeping up with inflation. And with affordability teed up as a key issue heading into next year's midterms, the president promised to unveil aggressive housing reform in the new year. New at noon, President Trump is following through on his promise to ease federal restrictions on marijuana. He just signed an executive order to move pot from a Schedule I to a Schedule III drug under federal law. That means the government now treats marijuana as having moderate to low risk of dependence and recognizes medical uses instead of putting it in the same category as heroin. Now, the shift does not legalize recreational marijuana nationwide, but it could loosen regulations, boost medical research, and make it easier for legal cannabis businesses to operate. U.S. health officials are proposing some new restrictions that would effectively ban gender-affirming care for minors. Health and Human Services Secretary Robert F. Kennedy Jr. announced the proposed rules earlier today. They include prohibiting federal Medicaid dollars from funding gender-affirming care for children.
So-called gender-affirming care has inflicted lasting physical and psychological damage on vulnerable young people. This is not medicine, it is malpractice.
Kennedy also said HHS is moving to exclude gender dysphoria within the definition of disability. The proposals face a lengthy rulemaking process and are likely to face legal challenges. In a statement, the American Academy of Pediatrics called the rules harmful and a baseless intrusion into the patient-physician relationship. Still ahead here at noon and streaming on CBS News Bay Area, we are following developing news out of North Carolina. A jet crash in Statesville. Several people have died. We have the details straight ahead. And in the South Bay, we are highlighting a program connecting ranchers with families just in time for the holidays. And here's a live look before we head to break. This is a bit of a cloud-infested view of San Francisco, but it's not raining yet. We'll have more on the forecast when we come back. Developing right now, a deadly plane crash in North Carolina. 6 people were on board a small business jet when it went down this morning. A federal source says one of the people who died is connected to NASCAR. And local CBS reporting shows that the Cessna C-550 is registered to a company tied to retired driver Greg Biffle. The jet crashed while trying to land at Statesville Airport, about 45 miles north of Charlotte. Investigators have not released the names nor confirmed exactly who was on board. We are getting a look at some of our Bay Area emergency responders who are deployed right now in Washington state after the recent flooding there. More than 40 firefighters from Alameda County are helping communities in Kent County, Washington, along with Oakland Urban Search and Rescue. They've done several missions, including searching neighborhoods affected by levee breaches and flash floods. All right, back to our first alert weather as we take a live look outside from our camera on Mount Diablo. You can see some clouds out there, but not bad. Meteorologist Jessica Birch has more details.
All right, those clouds are beautiful, but it's a warning to all of us that as we head into the next 24 hours, the reality is this atmospheric river is about to start rolling in, and today is the day to prepare. Earlier this morning, we were under a dense fog advisory issued by the National Weather Service over in the East Bay and the North Bay. That's now expired, and we're left with daytime highs in the 50s and 60s, but the reality is heavy storms starting to push in from offshore means that we could see potential for localized flooding. And then on top of that, gusty winds could cause a lot of issues too out there, not only on the roads, but just in general when it comes to Christmas decor all around too. First alert Doppler showing dry conditions right now, but those showers start to ramp up as we head into Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Now from Sunday into Tuesday of next week, we have forecasted anywhere up to around 2 to 6 inches of rain all throughout the North Bay, anywhere from 1 to 3 inches in places like San Francisco, along the peninsula, down into the South Bay too. This atmospheric river is really fixated in on Northern California, and as we continue to keep a close eye on that, some of those heavier amounts of showers are expected to push into Mendocino County, Lake County, and all throughout our North Bay counties too, but that continues to become a lot more widespread by Wednesday and Thursday of next week. So that leads into Christmas Day. It's not going to be a white Christmas here in the Bay Area, but it definitely is going to be a wet one. As we take a look at the next 7 days, there's really no break in the forecast. So it's important that you take advantage of today to prepare, and definitely if you're talking about holiday travel, be very mindful of that too. The roads are going to be slick as we head into the next 7 days. There may be weather delays too, especially with some of these stronger wind gusts as we see that atmospheric river fixate its way into the bay. So if you're traveling this weekend or early next week, just be mindful that there may be delays and everybody is going to be, testing their patience. Heading into early next week, we'll continue to see wet conditions, and we're going to continue to monitor this as we head into our Christmas forecast. But for now, I'm going to send it back to you.
Well, 1 week to go until Christmas Day, and the holiday tradition of giving to those in need can be seen throughout our region. In Gilroy, there is a unique program that puts protein on the plates of hungry families while also teaching young people the value of hard work and giving back. Len Ramirez reports it's a local effort connecting youth ranchers with families in need.
Families line up early for a food distribution at the Salvation Army in Gilroy. Several of them have children in tow, waiting patiently for help during a tough season. On the other end is Sandra, a mother of 5, who wheels away a cart of food and gifts for her kids. But this time, inside her food box is something nonprofit pantries can rarely afford to give away. Meat, in this case, pounds of locally produced beef and pork.
There's other churches, they don't give us meat like that. They only give us chicken, if that, and eggs and milk and stuff. So that is actually a really good idea that they're doing this year for us families.
Salvation Army Lieutenant Matilda Esparza says the meat is a special surprise for families and will be the key ingredients for culturally appropriate holiday dinners.
They can cook tamales, they can cook pozole with these special cuts that as Latinos we like to have it ready for our dinners.
Celine Duarte shows us the freezer packed with beef, pork, chicken, lamb, and goat, processed and wrapped, ready to be shared. The proteins come donated from the Santa Clara County Fair Buyers Coalition, which collects money to buy livestock raised and shown by junior ranchers at the county fair.
Those animals are then processed, and then we've donated that meat back to the Salvation Army.
And this is where it all begins, a small ranch just down the road from the Salvation Army. Gilroy native Sawyer Tankersley raised one of the beef cows purchased by the program. His animal, just like this one, is now feeding many hungry families this holiday season.
It's a very overwhelming sense of joy for the students, especially for me. I've raised about 8 projects and 2 of them were sold back into that program.
Sawyer is now a forestry student at Cal Poly. He graduated from Gilroy High last year and still mentors young students in the program. He says he does get attached to the animals.
It is a little bit emotional to see them walk away, but the whole time I raise the animals, I have the intent in mind that it's for a purpose, and the intent of that animal was to get returned back into the community, and it got bought back into a program where it could serve those in need.
But it doesn't end with food. Families can also pick out toys and clothes for kids of all ages. And Sandra says every bit of it helps.
It actually means a lot, especially when there's hard times and,
It's a unique farm-to-table idea, bringing comfort to the Gilroy community, empowered by generous donors and the young ranchers who live right around the corner.
Well, if you want to do good in your community, you can support our Food for Bay Area Families initiative and help local food banks with your money or your time. Just scan the QR code on your screen right now or head to our website, kpix.com/give. Coming up in our Red and Gold Report, 49er fans know and miss the voice. How soon the team's longtime radio announcer is going to be back in the booth. Well, the 49ers are gearing up for a playoff run, and they're going to get one of their key voices back when they return home next week. Vern Glenn explains in our Red and Gold Reports.
This is the Audi Red and Gold Report.
San Francisco has 3 games remaining, all against playoff contenders. First up, a road game against the Colts on Monday Night Football. And when they come home to wrap up the season, 49ers legend will be making his long-awaited return.
Throw over the middle, and it's caught by George Kittle. Touchdown! San Francisco!
My favorite story of the day. Greg Papa, the voice of the 49ers, will return to the radio booth for the final 2 home games. Papa was diagnosed with leukemia in July. He's now in remission, but still needs to undergo a bone marrow transplant. With the Red and Gold Report, I'm Vern Glenn.
Well, the giant 7-foot-tall numbers for 2026 arrived in Times Square today. The 4 numerals use a total of 589 energy-efficient LED bulbs. They're going to shine bright atop 1 Times Square at midnight on New Year's Eve. They're going to be displayed in Times Square through the 23rd, and after that, they'll move into position for the big night. I still can't believe we're creeping up on Christmas and New Year's Eve. I don't know why that's shocking. It's just all moving very quickly. That's it for the afternoon edition. Speaking of, we're streaming 24/7.